VPC. Okay.
Okay.
Now I'm going to continue the VPC. Okay.
Okay.
When I log into the AWS account, there is already one VPC is there. That is default VPC, which is all created by the AWS itself. Okay. When you
Yeah.
create any EC2 instance, it will be created under the default VPC. Default VPC. Okay. So now we're going to create a VPC. To create a VPC here, go to the services here under the network and content delivery. Under the network and content delivery, here an option is there VPC. Here an option is there VPC. Or else you can check from the search bar. Okay. So in the previous slide I explained you that what is VPC. So VPC stands for Virtual Private Cloud. It is also known as hybrid network, hybrid cloud. It is also known as the separate network for deploying your resources. Okay, creating a dedicated network, deploying your resources like on-premises data center, like a on-premises data center. Okay, how to create a VPC here? Okay, under this one, click on the VPC. There is already one default VPC is there created by AWS itself. Whenever you create EC2 instance, default EC2 is under the default VPC. So this default VPC having a 6 subnets because of how they are designed that. So this North Virginia having a 6 availability zones. For 6 availability zones, each and every availability zone they created a one subnet. They created a one subnet. How many subnets are there? 6
Six.
subnets are there. How many subnets are there? 6 subnets. See here. And their IP address is this IP address 172.31.32.0/21. I explained you what is my /20 value. So how many what
Yeah.
is that /20 value means that how many IP addresses are there? 4091. That
Yeah. Yeah.
4091.
Nine
Okay.
one.
Now we're going to create a VPC. We're going to create our own VPC. Okay, and we are going to deploy our resources. Okay. See here, creating a own VPC means creating a own network like you know on-premises data center. Okay. Creating VPC is we're going to create a separate network. After that, we're going to deploy our resources under the whatever you created the VPC. Now just create a VPC. Click on the VPC. Click on create VPC. Give the name. I'm just giving the name as a my VPC. The IP address range 10.0.0.16. There are IPv6 is there. I don't need to assign the IPv6. Okay. Okay. Right now we're using IPv4. We don't want to use any v6. I just given the IP address range of the IPv4. There are multiple options are there. VPC encryption control, none, monitor mode, enforce mode. So what is my monitor mode? See which resources of VPC are unencrypted but allow the creation of the unencrypted resources. It is enforces mode. All resources except exclusions. Your VPC to be encrypted. So I created the VPC name here, my VPC. Now created a VPC. Once I created a VPC, again I need to create a subnets. Under the VPC is the big network. So dividing the big network into smaller network is known as the subnetting. So now I'm going to create a subnet. Okay. I'm going to create a subnet. Here click on the subnet. Click on the create subnet. Under the which VPC? My VPC. What is the subnet name? The subnet name, just give here my VPC hyphen subnet -1. Okay, this is subnet I created. I don't want to select any availability zone. I want to give the CADR block, nothing but IP address range here 10.0.0/24. So what does mean 24? How many IP addresses will be there? I just given the subnet as a /24. that how many IP addresses are available for this network. How many IP addresses are there? Mohsin, how many IP addresses? Can you hear me? Hello? Hello? I'm audible to you both?
Yeah. Mohsin's not working.
Okay. What is slash
Mike.
24? Slash 24 means how many IP addresses are there?
2 to the power 12,
No.
4096, but minus 5 is 4091.
No. 2 per 24 I had given this 6 here. You're not. What is that value here I had given?
24.
How many IP addresses are left?
Okay, then 2 to the power 8
2 per 8 minus 5.
minus 5. Yeah,
That is how much? 251.
something like that. Yeah.
2 per 8 equals to 256. Okay.
Yeah, minus 5, 251. Yeah.
You can check here. How many IP addresses are there?
251.
So I created a subnet. Okay, first I created a VPC, then I created a subnet. Okay, understand?
Yeah.
Then I need to create a route internet gateway. I need to create a route table internet gateway. What is my internet gateway? Internet gateway, I want to connect my resources to the internet. Then who will provide the internet? Internet gateway will provide the internet. Okay, internet gateway will provide the internet. I just go to the route table, create a route table. What is the name of the route table? My VPC hyphen route. Select the VPC name, my VPC, create a route table. Then go to the internet gateway, click on the internet gateway, give the name my VPC, internet gateway name is my EJW. Okay, I create internet gateway. Then attach this internet gateway to the my VPC, whichever I created a VPC. The VPC name I created name is just created a VPC name is my VPC. Now I attached this one to the my VPC. I created internet gateway and I attached it to the VPC. Now attach the internet gateway to the VPC. Then after that, first we created a VPC, then we created a subnet, then we created a route table. Okay, here check this. We have created a route table. We created a internet gateway. We created a subnet. We created a VPC. Now, how the from the this any if any resource I created if any resources if resource I create under the subnet, how the resource if maybe resource may be EC2 instance, this how they reach the internet, in between there is a route table is there. For that one, so we need to associate the route table with the subnet and the internet gateway. We need to associate this internet gateway and subnet with the route table. Okay. Here click on the route table. Here click on the route table. Right click here. Click on edit subnet association. Then associate with the subnet. Then again we need to associate with the this internet gateway associated with the route table. Then again go to the route table. Click on the edit route. Then add route anywhere 00 means anywhere, and I am going to associate with the internet gateway. I'm going to associate with the internet gateway. Then click on the internet gateway, select the internet gateway, now select on save changes. Now okay, so first I created a VPC, then I created a subnet, then I created route table, then I created internet gateway, then I associated this route table with the subnets and internet gateway. Everything I created. Okay. So everything is created. Now I'm going to launch a EC2 instance under the our own VPC. Under the our own VPC. If you check here, there are two VPCs are there. One is the my VPC and first one is the default VPC. So default VPC IP address is 172.31.0.0/16. Whereas my VPC IP address is, I had taken my own IP address range. I just chosen my own IP address range and the subnet also. So everything is chosen by myself only. The previous was the AWS itself. Now I created a VPC. I just go to the EC2 instance. Now I'm going to launch a EC2 instance resource under the my VPC. Under the my VPC. Now launch instance here. Here I just give the name here. My VPC hyphen server. Now select Amazon Linux. T2 micro. Key pair I take the old key pair. If you want to take the new key pair, you can select the new key pair also. Selected a old key pair. Here the most important thing is we need to select the VPC which we created. For this one, go to the network setting. You have a two VPCs are there. One is the default VPC, and second thing is that we created. So what is the created VPC? My VPC. I selected my VPC, and we need to enable the IP address, public IP address. So what does my public IP address? It will give the public IP address to each instance. Okay. If you don't have a public IP address, we won't enable or we can't connect to the machine, EC2 machine. I said enable the public IP address. If you want to create a new security group, you can create a new security group, or else you can select the old security group also. Then click on the launch instance. Then here another thing is there, when you select here, if you have multiple subnet, you can select the multiple subnets also. Because of I don't have any subnet, I have only one subnet is there, and my VPC name is under the my VPC I selected only this subnet. If you have multiple subnet, we need to pick from any one of the subnet which we created. Now click on the launch instance. First thing, I created a VPC, then I created a EC2 instance. The EC2 instance is launched in the my VPC. Okay, this is a customized VPC. You can check here, go to the instances, and here this is the my VPC server under the my VPC. You can check here. This is public IP address. Okay, when you click on this one instance, this is the VPC name is, our customized VPC name is my VPC, and this is a subnet. This is the subnet. So this is the subnet. Understand? So this is the subnet. Okay, this is the public IP address, and this is the private IP address. Okay, the range we had picked which one? 10.0.0. You can check here the range, whatever the range we had checked, we had selected, the same IP address is reflecting here. Okay, so I created a VPC, customized VPC. Under the customized VPC, I had just launched a resource, or I had added a resource to the my VPC. Now go to the instance here, check here. So now created instance, and which one? Under the my VPC. Under the my VPC. There is one server is running there. I just go here, trying to connect here. How will you connect here? Click on connect. Click on SSH client. Copy the command. Go to the download folder. Here right click. I'm going to connect to the EC2. For this one, click on the proper show more option. Open git bash. Paste here. Click on yes here. Now connected. Now connected. Now you can check the IP address here. Log into the root. Check the IP address. How will you know the IP address? Just type ifconfig. Just type ifconfig. Now you can check the IP address here. 10.0.0.232. Okay. I created a VPC. Under the VPC, I created a one EC2. So now if any resource I want to create, I just create a resource, any resource under the my own customized VPC. In this customized VPC, what is the IP address range? 10.0.0.16. And maximum number of IP address I can create is 65,535. Under the VPC, I created another subnet because of so this VPC is split into the small parts. That is nothing but subnet. Subnet is a small part of the VPC. The IP address range is 10.0.0.0/24. Now, if you want to create another instance under the VPC, same thing you can do here. I just go to the launch instance. Give the name, another name, my VPC. Do you understand? Hello.
Yes.
I'm creating another instance. I'm creating the another instance under the same VPC. Under the same VPC. Click on network setting. Get my VPC. Your auto assign IP address is enabled. Here. Now a launch instance. Here another instance I created. Another EC2 instance is created under the uh, our own VPC. Our own VPC name is my VPC. You can check here. There are two EC2 instances are created. This is one and this is the two. They are under the same VPC. They are under the same VPC. The VPC name is my VPC. The VPC name is my VPC. So I had just launched two instances under the my own VPC. So that's it to create a VPC. Okay, do you understand? These are the steps to create a VPC. So to delete
Yeah.
the VPC here, first we need to delete the instances. If you don't delete the EC2 instance, then you are not able to delete the EC2 VPC. Okay, I just go to the terminate here. First I terminated the EC2 instance, then we need to delete the VPC. If you don't delete the EC2 instances, then we won't able to delete the VPC. Okay, that's it. That simple thing. Just created a VPC. Under the VPC, I created a subnet. Then I created a route table. Then I created internet gateway. Then attached this internet gateway and a subnet with the route table. Understand? Then I just deleted this whole lab. Again, we're going to move on to the next topic. Next topic. What is the next topic is there? This is big topic, takes time for this lab, at least half an hour, 40 minutes it will take. Okay. For this one, the lab we're going to take here. Going to create AWS multi-tier architecture or two-tier architecture. You can present in your resume or CV as a project. Okay.
Okay.
Here in this one, I want to create a multi-tier architecture. I want to create a multi-tier architecture. I want to create a multi-tier architecture. Under this multi-tier architecture, first I create a VPC. This is a VPC. This is the VPC. Under this VPC, what is the IP address range? I just take IP address range as a 10.0.0.0/16. This is a VPC. Under this VPC, I want to create multi-tier architecture, like a front end and back end. So I want to create two networks. This is the network, subnet 1, and this is the subnet 2. This is the subnet 2.
Yeah.
This is subnet 1, this
Private
is the
and public. Yeah.
yes, exactly. And here we're going to create this subnet. This is the public subnet. For this one, 10.0.0.0/24. This is the public network. This is the public network.
1.0.
Not 1.0. Who told you this one? Okay, 1 minute. 10.0.0, 1.0 or 2.0 also no problem. Okay. Okay, this is the private network. This is the private network. We're done. So first I create a VPC. The VPC range is 10.0.0/16. In this one, I just create a public network and IP address range is 10.0/24 and private network is 10.0.0/1.0/24. This is a private network. Under the public subnet, we're going to create a web servers. We're going to create what? Web servers. Okay? This is a web server. And this one we're going to create a web server. And the private network, under the private network, we're going to create a database server. We're going to create a database server. Okay, database server. Got it? This is the database server. Understood? Now, so when you create a public network, we need to attach with the internet gateway. This one, we need to attach with the internet gateway. Because we are providing internet here, we need to attach which one? Internet gateway. And this one, we don't have internet gateway. When you don't have internet gateway, mean that we don't connect from the internet gateway. We don't provide any inbound connection for this one. We're going to provide the outbound connection. For providing the outbound connection, we're going to connect to the NAT gateway. Going to connect with the NAT gateway. NAT gateway will provide the internet for the private network. Okay, done. So like that we create an architecture. We're going to create a public network, private network, and VPC. We're going to launch the web server in the public network. We're going to launch the private network on the private network. We're going to launch the database server under the private network. Here, this private network, whatever the instances is there, we don't have any public IP address. We are not connect from. It is not possible to connect from our laptop. Okay, this private network, under the private network, it is not possible to connect from our laptop because we don't have inbound connection. It is not possible to connect to the private network. Then how will you connect? This for this problem, how will you connect? Here I want to connect to the private network because we don't have any public IP address. It is not possible to connect to the private network database server. For this one, from the public network VM, okay, any one of the VM will use as a bastion host or a jump box. It's known as the bastion host or a jump box. Understood? This is known as what? Bastion host or a jump box. By using this one, we're going to connect to the instance of the private. Okay. From the public, we're going to connect to the private. Okay, understand? From the public, we're going to create the private. We're going to create a private. From this public network, any one of the instance, using this public instance, we're going to connect to the private VM. Understood? So this is known as what? This is known as the jump box or bastion host. By using the bastion host, any one of the instance from the public will going to connect to the private, because private EC2 instance doesn't have any internet. It is not possible to connect the private instance because it when don't have a public IP address. Then how will you connect from the public network? Any one of the EC2 instance we are going to connect to the private instance. Okay, it is known as jump box or a bastion host. Okay, so now we're going to create a multi-tier architecture. Okay, for creating the multi-tier architecture, first I need to delete this old VPC. First we need to delete the VPC which we created. First we delete the VPC, the previous one. Now we're going to create a new one, that is a multi-tier architecture or two-tier architecture. Under the two-tier architecture, multi-tier architecture, we're going to create a VPC. Under the VPC, we're going to create a two subnet. Under first subnet is the public subnet and second one is the private subnet. Under the public subnet, we're going to deploy the web servers. Under the private subnet, we're going to deploy the database server. This one, I just delete the VPC. So this is my VPC. I'm going to delete this VPC. Now going to create a VPC. Give the name. I'm just giving the name as a project VPC. And just giving the IP address name 10.0.0/24. Right? 10.0.0/24. Now created a VPC. Last 16, I had just entirely wrong. Okay. Created a VPC. What happened? Now created a VPC. So what is the VPC name is there? The VPC name is project VPC. What is the VPC name? Project VPC. Under this project VPC, we're going to create a two subnet. One is for the front end servers and second is the back end server. For this one, first we're going to create a two subnets. One is for the front end servers, second for the back end server. The front end servers or web servers are under the public subnet, and back end servers are database servers under the private subnet. For this one, I created two subnets. One is the public subnet. Select the VPC. Here, I just give the subnet name as a public subnet. Giving the name as a public subnet. CDR range I'll select here 10.0.0.0/24. Now created a once public subnet. Then so I created a public subnet. Go to the subnet again VPC. Then we're going to create a private subnet. And I just give the CADR range as a 10.0.2.0. You can take 1.0 also, no problem. /24. Okay. Now created two subnets. One is the public subnet and second one is the private subnet. So this public subnet, we're going to deploy the web server. Under the private subnet, we're going to deploy the database server. I created two subnet. You can check here. There is one VPC name is project VPC. Under the project VPC, you have it, two subnets are there. You can check here. One is the public subnet and second one is the private subnet. Then we need to create a route table for both. One for the public subnet, another for the private subnet. I created two route tables. Under the one is the public route. Under the project VPC, the public route. Again, I just go to the route table. Again, create a new route table for the private network. For this one, again, route table name is, I'm just giving the name as a private-route. Select VPC. Now created a route table, another route table. Two route tables are created. One is for the public, second one is for the private. Now I'm going to create internet gateway. I'm going to create internet gateway for the public network only, because we don't provide any internet connectivity. We don't provide any internet connectivity for the private network, because the private network should be secure. If you connect the private network for the internet gateway, then when you provide the internet access for the private network, then what happens? Hackers may attack and it may be vulnerable. For avoiding this problem, we don't provide any internet connectivity, inbound connection for the private network.
Only
So we don't
public.
create internet gateway for the private network. We're going to create internet gateway for the public network only. I just go to the internet gateway, click on the internet gateway. In this one, I just give the name as a public IGW. Public IGW. I click on the create internet gateway. Then we need to attach this internet gateway to the VPC which we created. What is the VPC name? Project VPC now. Okay, done. So now what are the things I created? I created one VPC. That is the project VPC. Under the project VPC, created two subnet, one, two. Again, another subnet, I created two routes. One is for the public network and second for the private. Again, I create internet gateway for the public route. Okay. Now we're going to attach this route table for both subnet. For public route, it's attached with the associated with the
Public.
public subnet. Then again, private route is also associated with the private subnet.
Public.
Then after that, we need to attach the public route with the internet gateway. Right click here, edit routes, add route. Here 00. Then here internet gateway. Select here internet gateway. Now save changes, done. Okay. So everything we created. First we created a VPC. Under the VPC I created two subnets. One is the public subnet and second is the private subnet. I created two route tables. One is the public route, second one is the private route. Then I create internet gateway to get the connect. When you want to get the internet access for the public subnet, I create internet gateway, and internet gateway is attached with the public subnet. Now I'm going to create a web server for the public and database server the private. Just go to the EC2. I'm going to create a one server under the public, another server for the private. Just go to the launch instance here. I'm just giving the name as a public front-end server. Select Amazon Linux here. T2 Micro. I selected old keep here. create a new key pair. Name is VPC hyphen key. VPC key. I'm creating new key pair here. What is the key pair name? VPC key. I created a key pair. Now, because here we need to select the network setting. So when you don't select the network setting, the EC2 instance will be created under the default VPC. So now we want to attach this public subnet to the customized VPC. For this one, go to the network setting, select the project VPC, and select the subnet. There are two subnets are there. One is the private subnet and second is the public subnet. So we need to select the public subnet because we are deploying the web server. We need to select the public subnet and we need to enable the auto assign IP address. Enable. Then in the security group, because it is a web server, we need to select HTTP and HTTPS. We selected HTTP and HTTPS. If anything, I want to just select all traffic also. If anything problem is there, select all traffic also. Because this is a web server, I selected which one? HTTP and HTTPS. Okay. So now I created a EC2 instance under the which subnet? Under the public subnet. You can check here. Under the public subnet, under the which VPC? Project VPC. Now click on the launch instance. Now click on the launch instance. Now go to the instance again. Again to create another instance. This time I'll give the name as a private backend. With that, private backend. Key pair name, I'll just take the old key pair. VPC key. Under the network setting, this is most important. Select the which VPC? Project VPC. Under this one, we need to select the private subnet. And we need to disable the auto assign public IP address. We are not providing any public IP address for the which instance? For the private instance. Because we don't provide any inbound internet connectivity to provide the security. Here we selected auto assign IP address and disable. Auto assign IP address disabled. Now because we are connecting to the database server, we need to enable the add security group role. Under the security group role, we just select here. We already selected my SSH. Then we need to select MySQL Aurora because we are creating the database server. I click on here anywhere. Click on the add security group role. And this is not mandatory. I'm just giving as my reference only. Okay. Now everything is done. You can check here. I create a EC2 instance. Okay, under the project VPC. So this is a subnet, private subnet, and auto assign IP is disabled. We don't have any public IP address. Now click on the launch instance. I created two instances, one under the public subnet, another under the private. Another one is the under the private subnet. So two instances. One is the web server, second one is the database server. For the web server, I just enable the security group as HTTP and HTTPS. Whereas for the backend server, I selected a MySQL Aurora because we're going to install any MySQL Aurora. Now you can check here. There are one is the private and a public. So this we can check here under the private server. If you go private server, it doesn't have any public IP address. Mean that we are not able to connect this server from our laptop. Okay, because they doesn't have any public IP address. is completely, if you don't have a public IP address, it is not possible to connect instance from your laptop. Okay, this one is the private. Which one? Private instance. Whereas public instance, you can check here this public instance. It is having a public IP address because we are enabled the public IP address. Okay. So I told you that how it is this, how will you connect? Suppose I want to connect to the private instance. If you don't have a public IP address, it is not possible to connect to the private instance. For avoiding this, how will you connect? From the public network, any one of the VM, from the VM, we're going to connect to the private network. This is known as the bastion or the jump box. From the bastion or jump box, we can enable from public network from any one of the VM to the private network. We don't have any direct connectivity for the internet. It is not possible to connect a private instance from the internet, from my laptop. Here first I am going to log into the any one of the VM from the public network. From the VM I am going to connect here. I am going to connect here. Okay. If you want to connect, then it is not possible to connect the private instance because you don't have an internet gateway. Now, first I will going to connect to the public instance. So for this one, go to the right click, go to the connect here, copy the command, go to the git bash, paste the command, hit enter, then press here. Then log into the root. Then this is the web server. So we need to install the web server service. Then how will you install here? Yum install httpd -y. It will install the web server. It will install the web server. Now you can check here. We successfully connected to the which one? For the public subnet. Under the public subnet for the front end we connected. So now if you want to connect to the private subnet, it doesn't have any IP address. It is not possible to connect from my laptop. Then how will you connect from my VM? From my VM will become the jump box or bastion host. From this one we're going to connect. For this one, first we need a key pair. If you don't have a key pair, it is not possible to connect from the public subnet, any one of the instance to the private subnet. For that one, we need to create a key pair. For creating a key pair, just type vi. Vi is to create a file. Vi is a visual editor. What is the key pair name? VPC key .pm key pair. Okay, vi VPC code key.pm. Then go to the key pair name. Here, go to the key pair name. Just right click here. Open with Notepad. Okay. Just press Ctrl A, Ctrl C. Just open the key pair here with the Notepad. What happened? Just Ctrl A, press Ctrl A. Just Ctrl P. Then go to the paste here. Just paste the key pair. Because from the public instance, we need to create the private instance. It asks for the key. I just take the key pair of the private instance. Okay, what is the key pair of the name of the key pair of the private instance? VPC key. I just copy here and paste here to connect to the private instance. :WQ. Then I'll just give the permission chmod. What is the command here? Chmod 700 VPC key .pm. Then enter. Then to connect the private instance, again we're going to connect the private instance from the public. For this one, go to the private instance, click on the connect here, copy this command. Just copy this command. Okay. Just paste here. Enter. Click on yes. Now you can check here I successfully connected to the private instance. You can check here. From the public, I just take the remote desktop connection. Nothing but a remote desktop from the public subnet. What is the public subnet IP address here? 10.0./13. What is the private subnet here? 10.0.117. So from the public subnet, any one of the instance public EC2, I connected to the private EC2. Okay. Without any public IP address, I just connected from my instance to the other private instance. Yeah, again here go to the login here. First log into the root here. Here you can check here. We don't have internet. Okay. So how to check here? Just ping www.google.com. You don't have internet connectivity. I want to provide the internet connectivity. That is, I want to provide the outbound connectivity. Okay. I want to provide the outbound connectivity. For that one, I need to create a NAT gateway. Now you can check here. You don't have an internet gateway. So because of no internet gateway, we don't have an inbound connection or outbound connection. So we're going to provide outbound connectivity. That's nothing but we're going to connect this instance to the internet. We're going to provide internet connectivity. How will you provide the internet connectivity? By creating a NAT gateway. So NAT gateway is a paid service. Okay. So it's a paid service. Okay. First we need to create a NAT gateway, and we're going to attach the NAT gateway to the public private instance. When you attach the NAT gateway to private instance, you'll get the internet inside the private instance also. For that one, go to the NAT gateway. Click on the create NAT gateway. Give the name as a private -ngw. Select the VPC. Okay. And then here, okay, this is elastic IP address. Okay, first we need to create a elastic IP address. Click on the create a NAT gateway. Whenever you create a NAT gateway, AWS will assign the elastic IP address. Elastic IP address means nothing but a static IP address. It won't change. Okay. So here, click on the NAT gateway which you created. So when you click on the NAT gateway, it generally takes 5 to 10 minutes to create a NAT gateway. Create a NAT gateway. Okay. Once the NAT gateway is created, we're going to attach this NAT gateway with the private subnet. Then we'll get the inside this instance, we'll get the internet connectivity. For providing internet connectivity for the private instance or database server, then we'll create a NAT gateway, and NAT gateway is attached with the private subnet. Okay. Inside the private subnet, all database servers or private instance will get the internet. That will providing outbound connectivity. Outbound connectivity. Please unmute. Now I created a NAT gateway. Now check here the NAT gateway. You can check here the NAT gateway. Okay. So this NAT gateway will provide the internet connectivity. Okay, internet connectivity. Now you can check here. You don't have internet. Now when you type ping www.google.com, I am not getting any reply. Mean that I am not connected to internet. Then this when you attach this NAT gateway, then you will get the internet. This EC2 instance will get the internet. Okay, it will connect to the internet. Now how will you attach this one? Again go to the route tables. Click on the private route this time, not private route, public route. Click on the private route. Right click here. Go to the edit routes. Add the routes here. Add 0.0.0/0. Then select the NAT gateway. Click on the NAT gateway here. Then save changes. That's it. Now you can check here that I am getting internet here. I'm successfully connected to internet. This NAT gateway will provide the outbound connectivity. It won't provide inbound connectivity. Inbound means from my laptop to EC2 instance. Outbound means EC2 instance towards the internet. So now I'm getting the outbound connectivity. That's it. Just try to do the video, watch the video and do the practice. Okay. Do the practice. Here I created a multiple things. I created a VPC. Under the VPC I created two VPCs. Under the one VPC I created a public subnet. Another the private subnet. Under the public subnet I provided the internet gateway, internet connectivity provided. And second thing is the private subnet. We don't have internet connectivity. Then under the public subnet I created a front-end server is a web server. Under the private subnet I created the backend server, a database server. Okay, this backend server or database server doesn't have an internet connectivity. So I want to connect the internet connectivity for the backend server. For that one I created a NAT gateway. Okay, I created a NAT gateway and NAT gateway is attached with the private subnet. That's it. Okay. So once it is there, this is the whole lab. For connecting the public instance to the private instance, I created a key pair and attached the key pair. From the key pair, I am going to connect. Okay. So now for deletion this one, because of NAT gateway will it will create so much of bill. For that one, first we need to delete the EC2 instance. Okay. First we need to delete the EC2 instance. You understand? Both of you.
Yes.
I'll just delete everything. Okay. Once the instance is deleted, then we're going to delete the elastic IP address and VPC everything. If you don't delete the elastic IP address, it will create a huge bill. For deletion of the VPC, first we need to create a EC2 instance. Then we need to delete the NAT gateway. If you don't delete the EC2 instance and NAT gateway, it is not possible to delete the VPC. Not totally terminated here. Again go to the NAT gateway here. Under the VPC, go to the VPC. delete the NAT gateway. If you don't delete, then it will get a huge bill. The NAT gateway, it is assigning the public IP address is nothing but elastic IP address. It will create a huge bill. Go to the NAT gateway. Select actions here. Delete NAT gateway. Once it is deleted, now this private NAT gateway is deleted. Then we are going to delete the elastic IP address also. Go to the elastic IP address. Okay, here this is an elastic IP address is there. Go to the action. Release elastic IP address. Okay. NAT gateway is still not deleted. Updated 1 minute. Now going to delete the VPC. This is project VPC. Go to the actions. Delete a VPC. Click on the delete. That's it, brother. I just send you video. Just go to the video and try to do practice. Okay? Tomorrow I'll see you.